Hello everyone, welcome to the February 22nd, 2015 edition of the Astrology News Report, presented by yours truly, Ron Berger, your fearless interpreter of celestial events. So let's take a look at the upcoming planetary patterns and predictions. What's in store in the heavens for February 22nd to March 1st and beyond. So the situation is that there are now 4 planets in Pisces. 3 of them, Mars, Uranus, and Ketu, are so-called natural malefics, in other words, planets capable of doing harm. And the 4th, Venus, is a nice, sweet, benefic planet, which will suffer from its association with the 3 bad guys. Furthermore, Venus is the fastest moving of the 4, and will therefore overtake and connect up with each of the 3 baddies, one after the other. Venus and Mars were exactly conjunct on Saturday, February 21st, at 7 degrees Pisces. This conjunction continues for the coming week, with the 2 planets still within a couple of degrees of each other for the first part of the week. You can see them after sunset in the west. Venus is easy to pick out. It's so bright you might mistake it for a distant airplane. Mars is fainter and definitely reddish-colored, and will be slightly below Venus. Venus is the planet of agreement. Mars is the planet of conflict. Venus is the planet of peace. Mars is the planet of war. Venus is the planet of harmony. Mars is the planet of force. Obviously, these 2 are like opposite poles of a magnet, and yet, somehow, being the 2 gender planets, they do attract one another. Mars needs Venus to calm the waters. Venus needs Mars to contribute energy. Mixed together, they create excitement, passion, intensity. Oh, and let's not forget, this is happening in the sign Pisces, an emotional water sign with a romantic, hopeful, sympathetic nature, and known for being unrealistic. This week, as Venus pulls away from Mars, it gets closer and closer to the next bad guy blocking Venus's progress, which is Ketu, hanging out in the middle of Pisces. By the end of the week, Venus has pulled up even with the south node of the moon. In case you haven't heard, Ketu is one of the crossover points of the path of the sun and the path of the moon. In other words, an eclipse point. The exact conjunction of Venus and Ketu is on Saturday, February 28th, at 16 degrees Pisces. In Vedic astrology, Ketu represents past karma, and therefore has the connotation of paying for one's past misdeeds. Ketu has a Shiva-like quality. In other words, causing dissolution of what is so that something else can take its place. Thus, Ketu with Venus will be detrimental for Venus's significations. For instance, Venus signifies value and cost, so there could be effects on the financial sector. Venus is the planet of agreement. There have been important international agreements made lately, which are put in jeopardy by this planetary pattern. Since Ketu represents the unseen world, it is also a spiritual significator. The intangibles associated with Venus, such as romance, can be spiritualized. Romance, spiritualized, manifests as devotion. Question is, devotion to what? Remember, the energy pattern is available to everyone. Meanwhile, in another part of the zodiac, Mercury, which ended its retrograde phase on February 11th, is now moving forward in Capricorn. and by the end of the week will be directly opposite Jupiter, which is still retrograde, in Cancer. These two will be in exact opposition, and therefore mutually aspecting each other, next Sunday, March 1st, at 20 degrees Capricorn and 20 degrees Cancer, respectively. Jupiter is the planet of increase. Mercury is the planet of ideas. Therefore, we get big ideas. But Jupiter is also the planet of beliefs, and when influencing Mercury, the planet of data, this results in spinning the facts to fit in with one's belief system. It doesn't help that Jupiter is retrograde, which makes its signification of beliefs even more subjective and personal. So, when taking in the news this week, watch out for exaggeration and subjective analysis. Okay, that'll do it for this week's show. Thanks for visiting astrologynewsreport.com. I'll be posting updates during the week on Twitter at Astro News Report.